Welcome back to another painting with Harold, and I am Harold. And I've been gone for a couple days. Been busy doing a few other things. I had to get some paints done for some people, and now we back to the old YouTube channel. So I thought tonight we'd just jump in and do us a pretty little painting. Got a 16 by 20 canvas turned on the landscape. Already got a thin, even coat of liquid white. Colors tonight are titanium white, Prussian blue, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson. Got midnight black, dark sienna, Van Dyke brown, sap green, cad yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and bright red. And I took a little bright red and cad yellow mixed together, made me an orange. And with that said, let's just jump right in here and see what we can paint tonight. See if we can come up with something kind of pretty and different. And we're gonna go right into a little of the cad yellow, and I'm gonna come up here and just add me a little yellow in the sky across here. About like so. Just a little. Don't take much. Then I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to go right into a little of the orange color that we made. Tap it right on the same brush. Then I'm going to come up and just bring a little of that in. Just a little. It won't take much of this color either. Just add it in there to give it just a little flavor. That's all we're trying to do. Just liven up the sky a little bit. Then we'll go right over here into a little of the cad yellow. The Indian yellow. We'll bring a little of that up. And it's a little different color than the orange, but it still has a little orange glow to it. And we'll just bring some of that across. And then we will, I think a pretty color would be if we picked up us a little bit of that alizarin crimson and brought it down and put us a little yellow ochre in it, and got us kind of a little peachy color, just to kind of fill out the sky, and maybe just a tad bit of phthalo blue. Very little. And with that alizarin in it, it should keep us from going green when we come up here and touch this color. About like so. And just bring it down on the sides just a little, not much. Then we'll pick us up just a little bit more of this color and come up here to the corners and just make the corners a little darker. About like that. It's about all the sky we really need for today, as far as the color of the sky. Alright. I want to take just a little bit of titanium white now, and I want to go on a clean, dry 2-inch brush, and I want a light spot up here somewhere. Let's say we put a light spot right here. Just make us a few little circle strokes. Real gentle with these strokes. We're not trying to kill any of the other colors that we got out. We just want a little light spot in the sky today. Just about like so. And just kind of softly blend them now. And just let them kind of tie themselves together here. And just give it a light blend. Yeah, something, yeah, about like that's what we're looking for. Then we'll take a paper towel. We'll knock this color off the brush. We'll just drop in the thinner for now. Come down here and I'm going to pick me up a little fan brush. And I'm going to come right into some titanium white. And I'm going to come up here. I don't really want no real big clouds today. So I'm just going to put a couple little floater clouds up here just to kind of give us them indication of clouds. They don't have to be real prominent or anything, because in this yellow sky these clouds are not going to want to show up real good no way. So I'll show you what we got to do. We got to come back in now and pick us up just a little bit of Indian yellow and just come back in and kind of touch it around a little and just give it a little yellow to it right here. And then you can come back and get you a little more white and come back up and just kind of mix them together. Now this will show up, but it's going to be real. It's not going to look like a normal white cloud would look. It's going to look like it's way off in the distance, and that's what we want. We just want this little cloud to look like it's way back in the distance. And if it blends in with what we already got going on up here, that's fine too, because we got some of the white around it, so it'll still appear like a cloud. It'll look like the kind of cloud we're trying to make for the sky anyway. Let's say it like that. Because if you wanted to put like a real prominent cloud up here, you'd have to mix you up a color of, well, we'll do one or two just to show you if you ever want to do a sky with these kind of clouds in it. You come into your alizarin crimson, pull out some, just more crimson than blue. But then pick you up a little bit of phthalo blue and bring in that crimson and get just a lavender color is basically what you're going for. But now anytime you're dealing with blue, always remember that blue will take over that crimson, so make sure you got more crimson in it than blue. Not to mention, if you bring that blue up there by itself, or dominant blue, it's gonna want to turn that yellow a lavender color on you. All right, so now right here where we just done this cloud, we can come across here and just kind of pat us in a little color, just right over that cloud, just real lightly. And just give it a little stringy shape right through here like so. And then as you move further back, just get lighter and lighter with the touch. You can come down through here with it just a little. Just try to remain as light as you can. The further down you come, let it lighten up some. And then if you want to give one a little shape, you can come up here and do you one with just a couple little circles, little small circles, just real small like. Because we'll come back and we're gonna come back and add a little light to both of these anyway. So I just don't want a whole lot of clouds up here today. Not like so. Then we'll do another one over here, kind of off in the distance. Just a little floater. About like that. And we'll run him right on off the canvas. You see how these are darker and this one over here is a little lighter? It just gives the sky different movements, basically is what it's doing. Alright, now let's go back into our titanium white and we'll pick us up a little Indian yellow. Now we want more white in this than we do the Indian yellow, but we do want this yellow to be seen. So if you want to pick up just a hair bit of that orange, you can. And depending on how much red you got in your orange, it may try to go a little pink on you, but as long as it's not a hot pink or a real bright pink, you'll be okay. Alright, now I want to come right back up here because our light spot's here, like the sun's back in here somewhere. And it's going to be shining out. So we want to come across the bottom here and we want to add a little bit of light on the bottom of these clouds just by tapping. And you don't have to go all the way back on them, just a little bit. And then the same right here. Just come up here and tap you on a little bit of the color across the bottom. And then the further you go back, the less you need. And then over here, we're going to do the top on this one because this cloud's more or less under that light source. So come in here and just kind of give it some on the top, about like so. And then on this one the same thing. See that light's coming out like this, but I don't think it'll be way back here. So we'll start about right here and give it a little, about through here. And probably about that far back, about as far as we'll go with it. Just enough to kind of give it a little light. And we'll wash the brush. We'll take a 2-inch brush here and knock out as much of the paint as I can. This is just that little one that had that little bit of paint in it a second ago. And we'll come right up here and we'll just real lightly blend across the bottom of this cloud. Just real lightly. Not like so. And then knock that color out. And then on this one we're going to blend the bottom of it too. And grab just a little of that yellow and pull down. Just a little bit. About like that. And the same over here with this one. Same thing. Just pull it down a little bit. And then on this one, we're just gonna, well, let's pull it back. Let's go this way with it. We'll just pull it back away from the cloud. Just like so. Then we'll come in here on this one and we'll just lightly fluff it up. Just real lightly. And just kind of blend it real soft. Remember, anytime you fill it with a cloud, you want it to be as soft as the cloud is. And however soft your clouds are really depends on how gentle you are with this touch. You pretty much determine how soft your clouds are. And just like so. That's about all we need. And you can just real lightly brush across the whole sky and remove the brush strokes. About like so. Alright, down here I think I want it to be a little darker down at the bottom. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pick up some of the Midnight Black. And I'm going to load the brush. And I'm just going to come down here and just fill this whole bottom in with the Midnight Black. I just want a good dark color down at the bottom. That way when we come in here with our grass or whatever we decide to put in down here, it'll already be here. About like so. Now if you want yours to be a little darker than that, you can pick up some Prussian blue, or you can pick up some Van Dyke brown. Any dark color will help the Midnight Black get a little darker, because Bob's Midnight Black's got a little bit of lavender hue to it. But in this paint, that color's not gonna hurt me as far as the lavender goes. If we darken it up anywhere, it'll be further down here. But so far this is being pretty dark for us. So you can see the liquid white's kind of giving us some light spots, which is okay. I mean, we just want it to be dark. Alright, now we'll get ready to wash this brush. I'm going to take a 1-inch brush now, and I'm going to go into this same color, and I'm going to tap some on the bristles. I'm going to come up here just above the horizon line. I want to start making some shapes, like little bushes or whatever you want them to be. It don't really matter. They can be. You could come in here and do straight lines and make little hills if that's what you want. But I'm just doing little taps to indicate like a little tree line way back in here. I'll do some taller and some shorter. But I want this to appear as a tree line way back here in the distance. Back here at the horizon. about like so. That's all we're doing. Just creating little shapes back here. About like that's all we need, really. And just kind of come up here and brush out the tap marks real good. About like so. Get them the way you want them to look, you know, in your painting. They don't have to look just like mine. If you want them to be taller, make them taller. If you want some shorter, make them shorter. Make them however you want them to look. Because this is your painting that you're doing. All I'm doing really is showing a technique. Alright, then we're going to have us we're going to have a couple taller trees. And that's one of the reasons I wasn't really worried about the clouds too much, because I knew we was going to come in here with taller clouds today. I mean taller trees. And the first ones are just going to be basically the same thing. We're just going to bring another color in here. We'll bring a little Prussian blue in this time and mix with it. These are basically going to be just regular trees, just to come up here and about like so. See how that's already wanting to turn green? But the thing of it is now we don't have to don't have to worry about it, because the tree is going to have green highlights on it. So and as long as we don't just get too crazy with this, it'll be fine. And just come down in here with a little of it, about like so. Let's do another one on this side. That one don't have to go all the way off like that one did. Unless you want it to in your painting. If you want it to, then carry it right off the canvas. Won't matter a bit. Alright, we'll bring these in by like so. Alright, let's get our script liner, and let's take it right into the same color. And then come up, give ourselves a indication of a little trunk through here, about like so. A few little limbs. About like that. And then bring it on down like so. And then we'll get some more of this color. Come on this side. Do the same thing. Give ourselves some limbs going off that way. So they look like they're growing off the canvas. And then up through the top. And this way. About like so. That's all we need. Yeah, I think that's alright. Yep, I believe that'll work. I think I'm supposed to end up being a brush washer here. Because I got brushes dirty now. So I'll tell you what I do. I'll go ahead and wash a couple brushes right quick. At any point during this painting, or this section, this part right here, if say you want to come up and do another tree, you know, right in here or right over here, make sure you leave some of these little distant trees in the back, because those are what's gonna make the paint look like it's far off in the distance. These back here, and that'll help with depth. We're gonna come across here with some bushes that'll push some of these back anyway, but you'll see when we get to it what I'm talking about. It'll just add to the whole effect. Because when we change colors here in a few minutes, that's when we'll start telling what's in the front and what's in the back. And what's where. Alright, we got a couple brushes clean now. So let's grab that little oval again, the little round one. And no, I tell you what, let's go ahead and highlight these trees first. So for that, I'm gonna pick up the little, I did say oval to start with, didn't I? I knew what I was meant. This is the little 1-inch oval brush that, if you got one, it may be black handled, or you may have a white handle one like mine, but it's like a 1-inch filbert's all it is. All right, so I'm gonna come right into a little of the cad yellow, and I'm gonna pick up a little of the yellow ochre, and a little of the Indian yellow. Just mixing all these colors together on the brush. And then a little of the sap green. And just tapping all these colors right on the brush. We're going to come right up here now. And we're going to start highlighting this little tree. And this is that real light touch. Real light. Real light. And our light's over here, remember that. So if we're going to have any real bright colors, they're going to be out here on this edge. And this color seems to be right now pretty bright because it hadn't picked up a lot of the dark color yet. But now the more you use it up here, the more it's gonna do that. So try to stay in your yellows when you go back down to load it for now. That way to keep it good and bright out here on the edge where your limbs are, where your sun is, I'm sorry, where your light is. It's about like that. And then when you start coming back in the middle, if it gets dark on you in here, it won't really matter too much because it's a little further away from the light. And remember what I said one time in one of my paintings about when you're covering up your trunk, that trunk's got thinner on it because you remember when you make it, you dip it in thinner and go through the color. So if you go to having problems getting that paint to cover your trunk, just thin it down a little bit, because when you thin yours down a little bit, it'll stick over at the end. And it's real important in a painting, especially in a tree, to have a little paint covering that trunk or those limbs. And the reason for that is it'll look like limbs that are facing you. Then you can leave a little of the limb showing and then come under it and just kind of cover it up in a couple places, and it'll look just like they're facing you forward. And if you need a little more thinner, you can always go pick up a little more. Just remember, it don't ever take much thinner. It never takes much thinner. Because this paint is so easy to thin down. And most of the colors that you use to highlight with, they're not as thick as, say, the what am I trying to say here? They're not as thick as the white. That titanium white's usually about the thickest color you got. It's it's bad thick. I've actually had some people say, "Is it supposed to be that thick?" Yeah, it is. Believe me, it's real thick. Okay. Then we'll come over here on this other side. We'll start highlighting this tree. And we'll do it the same way. We'll make sure that our bright color is facing our light source. Just keep in mind, you don't want to kill all your darks, and you want to cover some of your limbs. You're just trying to keep a basic tree shape, just make it look like a tree. You can see right here when you come down with this highlight color right there. See, I'd already pushed that one further back, that little bush. And we probably could have made those a little taller, but I didn't want a real tall horizon back there. Now if this messes our perspective up, we can always come back and we can fix it. We'll see what it looks like when we get to that point. We're a pretty good ways from that point right now, so. About like so. about all we need for that. I'm going to bring this side down a little bit more. Just a little bit. Not much. Not like that. Because we're fixing to grab our little round brush again. And we're going to go back into that dark color where we brought the Prussian blue in to the midnight black. And we're going to come across here. Then a couple of these places will come up above. Just a couple of them. We'll leave some of them down here. They don't have to be real big trees to sell the illusion. About like so. And we'll come across here. About like that's all we need right there. See how that darker color pushed out and right beside it, further back? I'm going to give this one just a little height. About like that's all we need. Okay. Now we're going to go back and grab the little script liner and get it in the thinner. Got that the same color. Then we'll come right up here. We'll give ourselves a little trunk. Just like so. Ain't gonna take much in here to these little trees. Just to show a trunk is all we're trying to do now. Alright. And now we'll wash the little oval brush again. These multicolored paintings like this, they will make you a brush washer. I'll say that. Alright, I'm going to come over here this time into a little yellow ochre. That yellow ochre's got the, it had that lizard crimson in it. So I'm going to bring a little sap green in there and try to tone that down a little bit. We'll come right up here on this one. Alright, that's not what I'm looking for, so let's grab a little bit of white. I want it to be lighter than that because we've got on our light spot over there. So I want it to be a little bit lighter. So let's grab just a little bit of thinner. Shouldn't take much for this. Shouldn't take much at all. We'll bring just a little bit of the Indian yellow in. We just want us a good bright color going on right here. So let's see what we got. Yeah, that should work. About like so. And then just kind of work it on down into the where the bushes are going to be. About like that's all we need. Then we can come over here and style us a little of the red if we want to. We can give this one a little different flavor. Give him a kind of a redness working down into that yellow. That turned out pretty. I like that color. I think y'all know that about me by now though, don't you? Then we go back over into our yellow again. Since we got all these wild colors now, this ought to be, oh yeah, that's pretty. About like so. And we'll throw a little white in the game. We'll give these two, give this one right here a little extra boost of color. About like that. Alright, now I want to do these. I want to do these other bushes with a different brush. I'm going to do them with a 1-inch brush. And I'm going to pick up just a little thinner. And I will come up here into my sap green, and I'll bring it down into my cad yellow. And I'm just tapping the brush straight down into it, just making sure to keep the bristles open. And I want to come up here and just give it a little push, try to maintain a bush shape under here. Just got to try to remember, don't kill hot or dark. And if you want to come over here next door and pick up a little of the ochre and give yourself a change of color, well, that's what you do. Just step over here and say, hey, you want to join the party? You can pick up a little of the Indian yellow, bring it over. Just little subtle color changes is all it takes to spice it up, that's all. It don't take a real bright color change to give you your whole painting a different flavor. Just a whole different look just by making a slight color change. Because as long as you don't have the same colors trying to mix together, and you're showing some separation in color, it'll do wonders for your painting. And we'll come in here with a little of the yellow, ochre, and red color. See just that little bit of color change right there. Gave that whole bank through there a whole different look. We'll go back into the yellow now, since we got a little of that red on the brush. And that'll change that color some. You can bring it down into the tree line here. You can still go back and get a little green. And bring it up. And it's a different color. Just like so. Yep, I like the way that looks. Alright. Now I want to pick us up a 2-inch brush. I want to come right up here now into just straight sap green and pull us out some sap green and tap it right on the brush. And we want to just come right up here under these little bushes here and start adding ourselves some color up here. Just tap your little line across here. Alright, now once you get that little green line across there, you want to come back and get your filbert brush now and go into your Van Dyke brown. Alright. Load the Van Dyke brown up on both sides, just with paint on them. Come up, let's say come up right here under this bush in between the greens, and come over to about, well, we'll see. We'll come in and we'll come across, then we'll start coming down about like so. Then we'll come and pull it right down towards the bottom and just let it fall off the bottom like that. And then come through here and just kind of widen it out. Just like that. Just real skinny back here. And then wider as it comes down towards the bottom. Just let it turn out and down, just like that. may want to make this just a little bit wider right through here. As it goes on back like that. In fact, it could start getting a little wider in here. Let's do that. About like so. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. Yep, I like that better. Alright, we'll hang on to the Van Dyke brown brush for now. We'll come back up here in the sap green again. And now we can start coming across here. And we know where to stop now. We want to stop at our path over here. This is also where you're going to start working on the lay of the land. Like, if you want your banks coming in and down, you can do that. If you want it to be flat across, you can do that. Basically, whatever you want it to look like is up to you right now. And you don't have to make that decision during this process. You do that during highlight. All you want to do down here is just get you some texture in. Because you gotta have that texture. And this is why we went ahead and put all this dark color down here. It does have to work for you when you get that much dark in here. Because we didn't have to use near about as much green paint as we would have had all been white. That's all we want to do is just get a little green in, and we're going to do the same thing to this side. We'll just come up here, come over to our path and stop. But this is definitely where you set your lay of the land at right here. When you start doing your highlights on this next, it's going to determine which way your land is laid out. And it's funny how you can just do it one way, and that's all it takes. One time of coming across here and not keeping the right angle that the rest of it has, and it'll throw it off. And that's bad, but it will. But now it's fixable, so I mean, I'm not trying to scare you. Because remember, there's nothing we do up here on this canvas that's not fixable. It's always fixable. Okay. Tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and pick us up a knife real quick. I'm going to grab my little knife here. And we'll get just a little bit of this white. And I'm going to grab a little bit of this yellow ochre. And just a hint of the dark sienna. And we'll bring all these colors together. And I'm going to put just a little bit of the Indian yellow in this color. And you can kind of leave it marble mixed, you know, you ain't got to mix it up perfect. You know, bring just a little roll of that paint off. And I'm going to come up here And I want to just start very lightly, bringing it across, very lightly. Just real lightly. If you want, you come up here and tap, and just let the brush, just let the paint pull off a little of the color from the knife. You just try to keep your knife level across here, and that way to keep your path in the perspective right. Because once you start tapping up here and you get to a spot to where you about done lost all your paint, then you can come back up here and grab what you tapped and pull it straight across. And it makes it so much easier to do. Because I know how hard it is to get used to that knife, and any little tricks that you can do that will help you avoid the whole paint breaking challenge, I guess, because that's the hardest part on the mountains, is getting the paint to break. Right here on some rocks, I mean, there's all kind of places that you want this paint to break, and it's hard to get it to do it, and it's all just a real light touch. That's all it is. It's just barely having enough paint on here to make that little roll, because that little roll is important. But now if you prefer tapping, like I said, you can come up here and tap, and then you can always come back and just, you can even do it with the little edge if you want to. A lot of people find it easier to work with the little edge. But all you're trying to do right in here is make just little dirt indications. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it with this at all, well, let me show you something else you can do. Some people just, I don't know, that knife just scares a lot of people. You can pick you up a little, well, where's it at? A little small fan brush, like this one. And you can go into your color. And then you can just come up here and just lightly, in a little motion like that, come up here and just give it a little color. And that fan brush will just brush it in, and it'll start changing the color. And just keep that fan brush level, just like you were doing your knife, and just work that color all the way around. And then when you come back to do your highlights, grab you a little more white and just come in here and pull it real lightly, and just pull it in different places across here. Just leave yourself some color. Just make sure you're pulling that paint straight like that. And then when you come back and go to work it in, just real lightly, just sit there and with that little bitty U shape, that little U stroke, just back and forth along your path. You see how it starts lightening up. Just like that. That's all you're looking for. Because over here you're going to be kind of in shadow anyway, along that And you have bushes over here that's hiding it all anyway. So your main focus is going to be where that light's coming down from about right here, basically, where that light's coming down, hitting the path. That's really going to be your main focus. So, you know, give it a couple bright spots in there. And this don't have to be perfect by no means. In fact, you don't want it perfect, because this is an old path that's been walked on, and I mean, if it's perfect, then you know it ain't been traveled very much. But just leave you some dark spots and some light spots in there, just to give it just a little dirt look, about like so. That's all you gotta do. Then you take your brush that you was doing your grass with, and you get you just a little bit of thinner on it. You come in here now with your yellow, and your yellow ochre, and your Indian yellow, all these colors. And if you have to put out some more color at this point, well, now's the time to do it. But then you just come right up here and leave yourself a little green under the bushes, and just come up here and start tapping on your highlight. And remember what I said, now's the time to start worrying about your lay of the land, how you want your land to look. But just lightly tap you on some highlights across here, just like so, until you get up to your path, and just kind of let it fade off, just like so. Alright, I am going to put out some more yellow because I'm running low. It seems like that's one color I don't ever put enough of out, is my cad yellow. Alright, I'm going to grab some more across here. Just keep on working this color over to the path. That's all we want to do. You can let that color change in here, just like you do everywhere else in your grass, just like in the bushes, or just like anything else you do up in this painting. You can do the same thing down here in the grass. Let the colors just kind of change color. And if you leave a dark spot here and there, well, that don't do nothing but add to the dimension. But if you're going to have any real bright grass, I feel like it's going to be over closer to this side of your path. I don't feel like it's going to be way out here. About wherever you think that grass, that sunlight will start hitting it, you can make that a little brighter, and just let the color play out as it goes further back towards the end of the canvas over here, just like so. And that's where you can come in here with your yellow ochres, and you can even pick up a little bit of the red if you want to. I'll show you what it'll do if you do. It'll just give it a little pop, just boom. See how that red did that? Because you know, if you sitting there looking at your yard at home and you look out across it, you'll see all different kinds of colors out there. It's just a smorgasbord of color. Alright, now we'll go over here and we'll start on this side. And the way you want to do this side is when you come over here on the path, where the path's at, just come over and keep it straight. Don't turn and go down the hill. Keep your stroke straight and work it down like that. Because if you do that, then it'll make your path look like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Especially when we come up in here with the bushes, because we're going to make it disappear. You won't see probably half of that path when we get done back here in the back. Unless we decide to leave a couple spots there to where we can see it. There's a little flavor. See how that changed that color right there? That's why I like brush mixing. You may go through there with the same color for 3 or 4 strokes, and then the next thing you know, you don't run out of that color and the new color just falls right out of the brush. Then you'll be like, where'd that color come from? I like that. But little slight color changes are always a positive in your paintings. You always wanna have a color change. It's so important. Not like that. That's what we're looking for. And we'll take us a little bright color. And about right up through here, we'll start brightening this up down here towards where the sun's going to be hitting. But now we can always come back a little later and really brighten that up with some white. And we probably will, just to give it that little dose of color it needs. And we'll come across here, keep all this good and straight. Alright, now let's take us the brush that had the Van Dyke brown on it, our filbert brush, and let's take it and come up here now and just start smearing it along the little path. And you can even come up into them bushes on the other side in places. Across here like so. And you put as many bushes over here as you want. I want my path to completely disappear. Because right in here, I'm going to bring in a little bit more color right through here when I get that far with it. Because right in here, I don't want this ground back here to be completely level across here. I'm going to bring a little bit of color in places to get that bottom some depth back here. And I want my path to disappear back here. Yep, about like so. Alright, I'm gonna wash the brushes. First thing to get up and close the door. It's starting to get cold. To do these little bushes back here, I'm going to use this same filbert brush that we just used to make them. And I'm going to come right over here and I'm going to pick up just a little bit of the yellow. It's got all this color around it. And I'm just going to tap a little color onto my filbert brush. Then I'll come up here and just slightly. Now you got to be careful that you don't end up with the same color as the bushes behind it, because if you do, it's not going to look right. So I'm going to pick up a little red and we'll come up here, and that way it'll kind of separate these colors right here, and we won't have the same color bush in here that we got over there. And I'll even pick up a little white with the Indian yellow in it. That gave it a little light pink looking color. Not like so. We just want some different color bushes back here. They can't be the same color, because if they are, they're gonna blend in with what's already back there, and it's just not gonna work. Not like so. See how they just hid the path completely? Now you don't even know there was a path back there. I'm going to come in here with a little bit of different color. Add a little dark in that. Pick a little bit more red right here. Alright. Then I'll come back up here and get a little more of my grass color now. And I'll come right under these bushes and I'll set them right down into the painting, just like so. And I'll bring that all the way over to the path. Not like that. That's all we're trying to do. Yep. Alright. Then I will pick up that filbert brush again. And I'll go right up in here to the black. Come back and touch right under them. Just kind of give it a little undertone under here to make it look like the bottom of the bushes. And then just come back up and tie out real light. Just tap it real light. All the way across, like so. Then come back with that same grass color again, and come up here and just tap a little of it on and leave a little of that black showing that we just put in back there. Just a little. That's all it takes to be effective. It don't take a lot of it. It just takes a little bit to show that there is some ground under them. Is all we're looking for. Not like so. Alright, now I'm going to wash some brushes. Alright, no sense in me sitting here with the video running while I'm washing brushes. So I'll take a break, get up, close the door, and wash some brushes. I'll be right back. Alright, we back. We got some brushes clean. We'll go ahead and finish this little painting on up. And first thing we're going to do now, or the next thing we're going to do, is we're going to grab that little flat brush. And this is number 8 bright, they call it. And I'm going to come right up here into my yellow. It's got all that green and all them other colors mixed in it. Not looking for a real bright color here, but just enough that'll show. And I'm going to come right up here, and I'm going to touch right along where my path was back here. And I want a little indication of where it disappears at. Back here in the distance. I want to add just a little grass back there so you can see it disappear. But I still want to leave enough of my darkness under my other bushes back here that they still show a little depth. So that's all we need to do. Just like that. That's all we need. Just a little indication to where you can see that path disappear off into the bushes back in here. And we can come over here and we can add just a little under these. About like so. And then just work that color in. Just tap it right in. You can get all out here by the path, just like so. Excuse me. All right, now we're gonna pick our filbert brush back up, and we're gonna go right back into the brown, the Van Dyke brown again. And I want to come from about right here down, just kind of squiggly like that. Just get it good and dark. When you get down here, give them a little foot to stand on. And we'll bring him in a little arm over here, about like so. About like that. Alright, we're going to clean him up because he's trying to look raggedy on us. And we can't have no raggedy tree. About like that. That's all we need. Okay. Then we will pick up our script liner brush. Get some thinner on it. come back up in here to our Van Dyke brown again. Load it up. And we can carry this all the way off the canvas, like so. And we can do the same thing over here. Just carry it on off the canvas, like so. And then we can come out with some little limbs right here. And right here. And we can bring one up through here. About like so. We can bring another one off the top. Like so. We can come over here on his partner and bring one off. Like so. And one up through here. Just add a few limbs to it here and there. That's all we're trying to do. And then bring one right out through here. Kind of give him some about like so. Get this side here to where it's not quite so bad. Alright, then I'll wash that little brush out. Then I'll pick up a 1-inch brush and I will pick up a little bit of the Prussian blue, a little of the Van Dyke, a little of the dark sienna. Just give me a good dark color on a 1-inch brush. And I'll just come up here and add a few little indications of limbs here and there, or leaves. Like so. Just try to maintain that tree shape. That's all we're trying to do. About like so. That's about all we're looking for. And we'll wash this brush again. And we'll come right over here into our yellow. And we'll tap some of it on the brush. I mean, this yellow pile, it's got all kind of colors in it. So when I say the yellow, you just about imagine it. It's got every color. It's got the yellow ochre, it's got the Indian yellow, it's got the green. I mean, it's just a smorgasbord of colors. Alright, then we'll just come up here and just test tap a couple spots, and if it ain't coming off, pick us up a little thinner. And remember, it don't take much thinner when you go to doing this. You just want to make sure your bristles are open when you do this, because if you're not, you're gonna end up with that pile of paint that just don't look right. Once you get your thinner in it, it'll start coming off the brush for you. And then once you see it's coming off the brush, you want to be real gentle. You don't want to come up here and smush it, because if you do, it's gonna turn to mud, and you will not be happy with that. So just take a real light touch. That's all it is. Just a real light touch. And just touch you on some highlights here and there. Be sure to leave yourself some dark. Because that's going to look like leaves on the back side of the tree. And the highlights are going to look like leaves on this side of the tree. And that's all we're looking for, is just a tree that looks like it's got a front and a back. And if you can get lucky and leave a couple limbs showing up through there, well, that's just a bonus. About like that. That's all we're looking for. Just a little life here and there. And that should give us a pretty decent looking little tree right there. Alright. Then we'll pick us up a knife and we'll come over here and get us some white. And we'll get us a little bit of the Indian yellow. Mix us up a little color here. Just a little bit on there, and we'll come up on this side about where the sun's going to hit, and just tap us on a little sunlight color, and we'll skip a couple spots and we'll add a little more just here and there. We're not looking for highlight everywhere up and down through here. Not real bright, I should say. Just about where the sun's hitting. Then you can come back and just kind of start working that color over to the dark side. Just lightly tapping. That's all I'm doing with the knife. Just letting it pull off what it wants. And then we will clean the knife off now. And we're going to come up here and we're going to pick up this little fan brush. And we'll take that little fan brush with just a corner and we'll start working that color into our tree, just lightly tapping. Just lightly tapping, that's all I'm doing. You just don't want to get rid of all the color, but you want it to kind of blend into the brown too. You don't want a real hard line where the two colors meet. You want it to kind of like it's blending around into the tree, if that makes sense. That way it'll look like it's real bright out on the outside edge, but not on back on the trunk of it back here. It'll kind of go. It'll make it look more like it's round. And if you start picking up too much of the yellow, and you see that there's too much on there, you can always go back and get you a little brown if you need it. But now you can make that decision once you go to blending everything out. See, in my opinion, that's just a little too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab just a little bit of this brown, and I'm gonna come back up here and touch in a couple places with this brown. And I'm going to take that brown and let it just kind of fade into that color and give it a roundness. Like so. That's what I'm looking for. See how that highlight looks like it's kind of wrapping around the tree now? And then you want to come up here and get you just a little bit of Prussian blue and a little bit of white, and make you a shadow color. And you want just a little bit of this color on the brush. And you come up here and just lightly tap that color on the back side where they meet. And this will serve as your reflective light. And it'll add a whole new dimension to your tree. Because you're gonna, by not having a lot on here, you're going to let it fade into the brown too. I mean, if you have to tap a couple times to get it to fade into that brown and change that color, well, that's fine. You got to do what you got to do at this point. But now if it starts looking too harsh, and I think that does right now, just knock some of that color out of your brush. Come back up here and just kind of lightly pull your fan brush right to the middle. Just kind of tap just the middle where the two colors meet, and just kind of let them blend together. Right on down into the dark. Just kind of let them blend out. That's all you got to do. Just like so. And then you can pick you up a little bit more yellow on that same brush and come right down to his feet right here and just push up with the fan brush. And it'll just look like a little tall grass growing up around his feet down here. Just like so. And then you just kind of tap out the bottom of it. Just like that. And then you can come back up here now and come into a little bit more of the Prussian blue and a little bit of the Van Dyke brown together and mix them together. Sun's coming that way. If it's hitting the tree right there, that means it's going to cast a reflection off this way. So just come up here and kind of tap you in a shadow in behind that tree that's going off the canvas over here. Just like so. And you don't want to use a lot of paint right here either. Just enough to make it noticeable. That's all we need. Once you get it laid out right there, you can knock some more paint out of it. And just come up here and just work this color into the green now. Just keep on tapping it. Just like so. And I'm hoping that it goes off before it splits. Because I don't want to, I mean, if we have to, all you got to do is just bring that split over here, but I think it's going off before it gets to it. But just keep working it until it's, you know, it just looks like it's part of the grass. That's what you want to do. Just keep on working it. Then you can come back in here with your yellow again. Because if you mix that yellow right now, it's going to turn to green. And then come back at your grass spot and put your grass back in there. I want it to be a little taller grass than that, so let's put some, yeah, I like that better. Yeah. Put some tall grass up around it. And if you got out of whack right out here, you can pick you up some grass color and come in here and just fill it back in. Just like that. And we got us a little shadow. And I think we're about to finish it up. So the only thing I want to do now is pick up that round brush again. And come back up here into this dark color again. I'm going to come over here off the canvas and just put me in a little indication of bushes across here. Just something to kind of close this side in just a little bit. And with the same brush, I'll go right into the yellow. Like so. I'll come in here and grab a little of the ochre. And a little bit maybe of the alizarin crimson. Bring it in here. That alizarin ain't wanting to show up real good right there, so let's make some more color with it. Get it good and bright. There we go. That lit it up. About like that. And we'll pick us up a little bright red. We'll bring it down here and make us a little firecracker. About like so. Then we can come over here and get a little white. Come back into our green and our yellows. Get kind of a dark color since this is going to be down there in the darkness. Just kind of let all this fade away down into a dark, just a dark kind of color with a combination of flavors in it. Just as long as it stays dark and noticeable, that's all we want. About like that. Then we pick us up a knife, come in here and scrape us in a couple little sticks and twigs. Put us some back here in the distance back here. Just like that. Yeah, maybe need to put one or two right in here. About like so. And to me that just looks like a pretty little meadow with a little path going back into the woods, and somewhere if you wanted to get off and do some thinking, you could just come out there and take you a walk and get you some thinking done. We'll put a mark on this one and we'll call this one done. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If you haven't seen the video that is out that's showing the competition or the contest painting, the first place for that's $50, and it's not a real difficult paint to do, so if anybody wants to try it, feel free to. The only rule is it's got to be in by May the 15th, and you got to be a subscriber to my channel. And if your painting is chosen, then you win $50. And like I said in that video, however you want the money is entirely up to you. Whether you want a gift certificate, you want cash, whatever. I'll do whatever it takes to get it to you. And let's see what else. Oh, let's see. There's something else I needed to mention, but I forgot now. Oh, if you win the video that I do after I announce the winner, I'm gonna show the winning video on that video unless you don't want it shown. If you don't want it shown, then I won't post it, or I won't show it on YouTube. And if you don't, I understand. I mean, that's your privacy, and if you don't want to let people know you won money, or let people know that you even entered the contest, that's fine. But I guess for tonight, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to do a little fun painting to get back in the groove of doing videos, since I've been busy doing a couple commission pieces for people, and I appreciate them letting me do them for them. They turned out nice. I don't post commission people's paintings that I do unless I ask for permission, and I really hate to do that because their painting is one of a kind to me, and there won't be another one like it. I try my best not to paint 2 or 3 versions of the same painting unless somebody just absolutely has to have one. But all in all, I'm gonna say this one's done, and I think it turned out pretty good. Just, it's a simple painting. If you want to try it, feel free to give it a shot. I'm sure you probably even do a better job on it than I did. But I hope y'all give it a try. I hope you enjoy it. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for the channel growth, and it's growing a little. And as long as I can keep doing this, I will. I love it. I mean, I can't tell you how much I do love it. And I wouldn't be able to do none of it if it wasn't for you guys. So thank y'all very much for watching. Thank y'all very much for commenting, for liking and subscribing. I mean, it's so humbling to me that y'all do that, and I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Love you guys, and God loves you more. Y'all have a blessed night, and I'll be back hopefully tomorrow, the next day, with another pretty little something. I'm fixing to do a black canvas painting, so that should be fun. And with that said, good night. God bless.